Okay, so the problem that I'm about to work through is not problem 78. It is, or sorry, 70, whoops. It is problem 78. It should be helpful with problem 77. It's the same concept behind problem 77, but it's harder. So if my explanation makes sense to you, then problem 77 should be no problem at all. So the directions say find a function represented by the series and give the domain of the function. And then for problem 78, they gave you this lovely little mess. 8 minus 2 times the quantity x minus 3 plus 1/2 times the quantity x minus 3 squared. Now, if you can predict what the next term is, then you're on the right track because you know what the common ratio is, and you've also noticed that this sucker is geometric. So what are they multiplying by every time? What did they multiply the 8 by to make it be a -2? And what did they multiply the -2 by to make it be a positive 1/2? Looks like they're multiplying by -1/4 to me. And then they're also multiplying by an x minus 3 every time. So what would the next term be? -1/8 times x minus 3 cubed. And they would have given you that, but I'm trying to point out that if you're noticing a pattern like that, then you have something that's geometric. So what would this equal? Since it's geometric, we're going to say that it's equal to the first term, which is 8, divided by 1 minus whatever the common ratio is. So what were they multiplying by every time to generate the next consecutive term? They were multiplying by a -1/4 and then also an x minus 3. Okay, so now let's just simplify this compound fraction and we'll go from there. So this would then equal, got 8 on the top, and then we'd have 1 plus 1/4 times x minus 3. And then I'm going to go ahead and multiply this by 4/4 just to clear that fraction on the bottom. And what would I have? I'd have 32 over 4 plus x minus 3. Okay, and then that's equal to 32 over, what was that, x plus 1? 1 plus x, same thing. There we go. Okay. Now the directions also said give the domain of the function, and if you're like me, you're tempted to just kind of look at this and say, oh, well, x should be anything but -1. But there's a little more to it. Remember that we were not supposed to use this formula. Like, this formula would actually give us something very incorrect and very misleading if your common ratio isn't the right thing. So what they mean by the domain here is under what conditions is this or all these equal signs true? And so it would only be if the absolute value of your common ratio, which was -1/4 times x minus 3, if its absolute value is less than 1. Okay, so now we just get to solve this. I'm going to factor the -1/4 out as a positive 1/4. And then I'm going to multiply both sides by 4. And then I'm just going to think about what numbers are within 4 units of 3. And so the domain would be any x value from -1 to 7, not including -1, which is super cute because that was the first thing that I thought we should kind of disclude up here was -1. So automatically got discluded when we just kind of kept our common ratio within the right bound there. So the answer is simply 32 over 1 plus x, but it was only equal to that for all x values from the interval from -1 to 7. There you go. Hope you're doing great, and just in case you're not having a great day, a little bonus for you today. See? These are my cats, Lex and Leo. Hi, kitties. There you go. That's Leo. I think think he needs glasses.